to be done. So there are things that are going to take a little bit, but
Wait,
the idea of the
it's not. Maybe I have to stop sharing.
I can reshare. I don't know what happens. Does
Yes.
it work now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The final repo is going to be different. But right now, you can find it here, Marketplace app,
Oh, okay. Let me.
and it's a fork of One Hive Marketplace app. So the
Is
template.
this, Sam? I'm really sorry. Is this going to be the final one? Because I know there was some illegal issues about the names of this. Is this what it's going to be?
I don't know. No, it's not
Yeah,
going.
I don't know. That's all right. That's fine. We'll roll with it. Whatever it is, it is.
Yeah. There are some illegal names. Yeah, we need some renaming, but the idea is that the initial marketplace worth 4 apps. We are using presale as hats and independently of the other apps. So we will not have that presale because this is done in the Hatch DAO. And when we do the migration to the new DAO, when we have all the funds and want to launch the bonding curve, what we are going to be using is these 3 apps here. So the Bancor formula is the, let's say, library that has all the Bancor formulas. Well, I can show it. It is the weird library that nobody understands, but it works. You can calculate the price of the token based on the current reserve ratio and the amount of tokens that there exist and the amount of funds that there are in the reserve. That's the formula. I think that we can find the formula in somewhere else because this is the very ugly implementation of it. Okay. It is a module that works as a separate thing, and you just have to install it and use it, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't have a state. It is just some smart contract that is used to query.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. Okay.
And then that's the important contract, and which is using you can call the let's see which are the functions. You can call the make by order, which what it makes is you say, okay, I want to deposit this amount and I want to receive at least this amount of the token. So you are buying using, in that case, XDAI, and you will be buying tech. And well, that's the buy formula, and the sell formula is that one. You are selling a certain amount of TEC and buying, well, receiving a minimum amount of XDAI. And this internally is using the Bancor formula. Well, actually, let's see, it is taking calculate sell return from the formula, as you can see here. And of course, it applies a fee that we call the exit tribute or entry tribute. This is where it is applied. So one of the things that we have to decide also as parameter is the entry and exit tributes. That's 2 of the parameters that are important.
And entry and exit tributes.
Yeah. And this is the main contract that we are going to be using. The other one is the controller, which is like, it's an empty thing that makes well, it's a controller. You want to update the fees, it calls the market maker. If you want to open the presale, it calls the presale. If you want to close the presale, it closes the presale. It is the stupid one. And we could get rid of it if you want, because since we are not using the presale anymore in the new DAO, we can just use directly the market maker. If that has sense.
Sorry, say that again.
Because this is the contract that it's usually used for working with the pre-sale and the market maker at the same time. The market maker is the bonding curve. And the thing is that you just have one interface to interact with both of them, but because we are not going to have the pre-sale or the hatch in the new DAO, we can just use the market maker and forget about the controller, this controller thing. So at the end, we will be using Anchor Formula and market maker, or maybe we can use the controller too, but it will be not so it's not so useful right now as we have it. It will be interesting to have it all together, because altogether is more or less audited, and if we just use the market maker, then we might have some, I don't know how much trouble we will get. I don't think that they are also independently audited, so I don't think that will be a problem. But altogether works well, and we can just initialize the pre-sale and send the funds and close it instantly if we want.
Yeah.
So that could be one option.
Wait, what if we, because we're doing the hatch, so there's going to be the reserve from the initial hatch. Now, would it be like we take those reserves and send them into the bonding curve as the pre-sale, or is that not necessary? Because we already have like, what do we have from the hatch? We have a reserve lockup of wrapped X die, I guess.
Yes.
Now, would it make it sense at all to sort of use that wrapped X die and use that in the pre-sale, or is that just overcomplicated things?
I think that it would make things a little bit more complicated. It's not necessary, because we can send the funds directly to the vault. The vault is not here, because these are just the applications, the independent applications, but the final template is going to be more like the Honey template, in which it will have two vaults and some of these applications, and also conviction voting and a token manager, and all together will be working well. So the thing is that I have been working on an application that it's called Migration Tools. I think that I have it over here. Yeah. And what we are going to do, because we will have two vaults in the old DAO and in the new DAO, we want to send the funds from the two vaults to the new two vaults, right? But maybe the ratio changes. Maybe at the beginning we have 20% in the non-redeemable vault and 80% in the redeemable vault, and then because of the vote, the parameters of the commons says that we want another ratio between the reserve and the funding pool. We want to change that. Well, I did that function that if we want to change that, and in the first vault there are less funds than the new vault, then we have to send funds to the new vault from the second vault of the first DAO. I think that I am messing up with the. Let's say that there will be 4 vaults in total. 2 in the DAO, 2 in the new DAO. We call vault 1 and vault 2 in the old vaults in the first DAO, right? And new vault 1 and new vault 2, the vaults in the new DAO.
Mm-hmm.
And we are trying to send funds from the vault 1 to the new vault 1. If we don't have enough funds in the vault 1, we will need the vault 2 to also transfer some funds to the new vault 1.
But yeah, but why do we need this quality where Vault 1 funds needs to be equal to new Vault? I don't get the difference because there's still going to be some funds, isn't there, in Vault 1? I mean,
Yeah, vault 1.
are we transferring all of the funds from basically old first DAO to second DAO?
Yes. The
Yeah.
vault 1 and vault 2 will have no funds at the end of this function.
This is the whole big thing with the language of the upgrade. Everything goes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're saying, okay, so Vault 1 transfers to new Vault 1, Vault 2 transfers,
Part of it, the new vault 1, only part of it, the part that is needed. The funds that are
oh, new Vault funds is the amount that we want, that we need to transfer into the new Vault 1. And so this is checking if it's enough because does Vault 1 and Vault 2, does that map to like redeemable and non-redeemable, something like that?
yes,
Oh, okay.
exactly.
Okay, okay, okay. So we need to we're going to have a minimum amount of redeemable funds in new Vault 1. So if we don't have enough funds here, then we go here, so to the second case, which is we transfer all of Vault 1, and then Vault 1 dot transfer new Vault 1 new Vault funds dot sub new Vault 1 funds. Wait a minute, that should be Vault 2. The second line after the else.
Yeah, maybe I didn't test it yet, and let me check it out. We transferred all the funds from the vault 1, and we are asking the vault 2 to transfer what is remaining. So let's see if that.
Yeah.
Let's say that we have all the things. I think that we are transferring what we want less what we already transferred.
Yeah.
So we'll have the new vault funds 1, which is the thing that we want in the new vault 1. It is correct, but it's a bit
No, that's
a little
correct, but then look down after the else.
here.
Yeah, this one. Go through this one. So it's like
Okay.
yeah.
I just copy pasted it. So in that case, you say that we are transferring from vault 1 to vault.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. No, this is right. So
Maybe
because this is the case where the funds are greater. So we're going to have a remainder in Vault 1, right? This second line is the remainder because in the first line we transfer, so we know that Vault 1 is greater than new Vault 1, greater than or equal to. And so in the first line we transfer everything from Vault 1 to new Vault 1, and we're going to have a remainder in Vault 1. So we transfer it to new Vault 2. Oh no, wait, no, yeah, Vault funds, yeah, Vault new. Oh, but
hey, isn't this where like everybody like Andre and stuff talk about the vault that nobody gets to see, and then we transfer everything to ourselves?
yeah,
I don't think that.
Wait, you mean
I don't know.
like a back door? Like this is secret?
Yeah,
like
like
New Vault 1 is Sem's account. New Vault 1
yeah,
is
this is where the rug is. This is where the rug is. Come on, guys, it's just us three. Yeah, this is where the rug goes.
You got me. all this stuff with multiple vaults.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta fool the auditors.
I think that it's a little bit it's a little bit too.
We need to test it.
I don't know
We need
if
to
that was.
we need to make test cases, I think, because now still I think the second line there actually it's the remainder, but it's transferring to new vault 1, but it should be new vault 2 maybe. Yep, that what you have highlighted in the middle there.
It's possible, yes, because if not, yeah. I think so, because it's the Vault 2 which needs, yeah. And that then is fine. Vault 1 funds dot less new Vault.
I think it's right.
Because in that case, funds in the Vault 1, and we are removing this part here that is already transferred to new Vault 1, and we are transferring it to new Vault 2. Yeah, that's right. I don't know how to document that. And I don't know if that's the best way to do that. I think that it's going to work. I think that it's good. It's not complex computationally. I don't really like the if else here, but I think that for any programmer that reads that will understand better this way.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's like I don't know. It's if not, it's a mess. I mean, if you see that second Vault 2 transfer token, new Vault, that line repeats.
So I guess we could take that line out of the if else. Or
We can.
but
Yeah, we can.
yeah, I mean we can, but we don't want to break anything.
No, it will not break it, but it's for a programmer that reads that says, okay, I understand more or less. If we move that out, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, well, we should add some.
I don't think that
I can help with this, adding some like comments and. Should we add a comment in each if else, or I don't even know what we would write.
well, actually, uh, it is a bit difficult to me to write a README for. I don't know if because you told me you were able to help. I wanted to ask you in which part you would like to help.
Yeah, so this is it exactly. So what I want to help with is like this kind of exactly what we're doing now. So you can point me to this kind of function, and I can maybe write yeah, I would love to write like test cases or test code, or even yeah, readme style documentation. Anything that's not like major functionality, because I think you guys are in the zone with that, and you've been thinking about this so long, and you're so in it. And I'm new to Solidity development too. So, but if I can write even just documentation or tests, this kind of stuff, I'm super happy to do that.
It will help a lot to us because it sometimes it's difficult to explain what we are doing in English words. And I also have been preparing some tests that Paulo wanted to fulfill, but I still think that they could be better explained in English words. I mean, maybe you can check out that everything that we are as an external developer that sees and says, okay, that could be better if you do that or that
Yeah.
other thing. Because if you see the test here, I think that they are not very understandable yet. For example, setup minting. What is that? you know,
Mm-hmm.
if you could find better words for the things and do the documentation around it,
Mm-hmm.
that will take a lot of work from us because
Perfect.
we have 4 things at the same time
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well,
And right now,
and Sean,
what
it's
we need.
like we talked about too. Devs need to dev. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yep, devs need to dev. Yeah. Token engineers need to token engineer and devs need to dev. So I think I'll
But it's also part of the
What's that, Sam?
it's also part of the development. I mean, it's also part of the development.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it is need to free the patch, and we are doing also another test for there are other things that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's say that there are things to freeze the hatch and things that are for the future. The things that we need to finish the hatch is to write these tests,
Mm-hmm.
write the test of the template, which I don't have it here right now, but we are working on. We have all the applications all together, and then we say, okay, let's close. Let's open the hatch. Let's contribute. Let's claim the impact hours. Let's close the hatch. So now we all have TC tokens, and the funds are in the vaults. Now let's migrate. We we also are working on these tests in a similar way to these ones. So at the moment we have two kind of tests that needs to be done. The ones for the migration tools, which are the common with, and another ones for the hatch template. And this is what we are working during. Probably we will have them this weekend
Mm.
because we are here with Paulo. Paulo is over there, like.
Awesome. Hey, Paolo. Hey. That's so great.
Hey,
Hey.
Pablo.
And we are here very focused, and it's working so good. It's like we have been like 2 months without being able to do anything,
Mm-hmm.
and working together, and also with Gabi, it has been a charm.
I'm really happy that you guys get to like do stuff that's important right now. We need to get some of our fucking life back. But with that, you guys want me to make some new issues for this, like in Git, so then I can move to the ZenHub board, or do you want to meet up again on the weekend if that's possible,
No, I what I
or
will
just
do
let
is
it ride?
just take the let me end. Let me end. We have
Yeah,
the tests on the migration tools, the documentation on the migration tools,
Wait,
the
wait,
tests
slow down.
on
I'm gonna get these in my notebook so I can kind of digest them. So, number one is
okay,
tests on the migration tools.
yes,
Okay.
documentation on the migration tools,
Documentation, docs on migration tools. Okay.
tests on the template or hash template, tests on the hash template,
Mm-hmm.
and these 3 things are what we need to freeze the hash,
Okay.
and then the other things that we were talking with Jake are uh, creating the commons template with the bonding curve. So this is what we were talking at the beginning with these applications of the bonding curve, integrate them into the Honey template.
Cool. Okay, cool. So this is marketplace app into Honey template.
Yes, instead of the issuance. But this is like a completely different job.
Yeah.
It is for the commons migration, and then uh, when we have this, um, The job that is more related with you, HGC, is the part of getting the parameters and working with them inside tech params.
Mm-hmm.
That will be the thing that I think that you will feel
Mm-hmm.
more comfortable with. And the parameters, I still don't know which this is what I was talking about, the exit and entry tributes. And then there is this ratio of the formula in which you say, okay, I only want a 10% of the funds as the reserve ratio in the vault, in the reserve vault.
Okay.
And there is some other parameters that I don't understand yet, which are called virtual supply and virtual balance. And we need some. I think that it's a very interesting thing also.
Yep.
It's not needed for now, but in order to choose those parameters, we need to understand them. We need to. I think that this is the more token engineering thing
Mm-hmm.
that can be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And to understand that, we can have. Let me see. Can have Aragon. If you go to mainnet.aragon.org and create a new DAO, a sec. Come on. Okay. A new fundraising app, you can see here the parameters that that are needed in order to initialize the bonding curve.
Mm.
So it's another way to see this. Let me put here some. Yeah. Well, it is creating two tokens, one for the shareholders and another for the council. This template is using two tokens, and one of the tokens is sold in the bonding curve, and the other is used to control the what would be the funding pool. And the difference between the original fundraising template and our template will be that instead of having a council that controls the funds, it will be a conviction voting application.
Cool.
And here is the pre-sale terms and contribution terms. This is the form for the bonding curve and the pre-sale. So I don't know how much time do you have. I mean, is it fine?
Oh, I got
Explain
lots
it.
of yeah. Let's go. I got hours and hours and hours. No rush.
Okay.
I do not. But dude, I'm really stoked on this. Really excited, and this is exactly what we need to do. So yeah, keep at it, and I'll check in with you guys later in the my afternoon, whatever, or tomorrow in the morning for you guys. Actually, you know what, Sean? I'll check in with you later because we work better on the times and see where this went. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you very much, Sim.
You're welcome. Okay, so because it all went all together, the pre-sale and the bonding curve, it is an integrated form. So we have here the pre-sale goal, and the period, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is intending to get 25 grand in 14 days. And the initial price of the token will be 1 DAI per token. I just put it this.
Few S. That's kind of cool.
and people will be able to buy it. So this percentage here is the amount of tokens that are being offered.
Wow.
So people will be able to buy these tokens, and the 90% of these tokens in the pre-sale. And when the pre-sale ends, a 10% of the pre-sale, a 10% of the tokens will be minted for the people of the council, let's say.
Mm.
Let's say that we have two groups represented by tokens, the team or the council and the stakeholders. So this is the percentage of TEC tokens that would go to the team. Because we don't have this team, we have a conviction voting application. We are offering the 100% of the tokens to the hatchers, and that's all. We are not minting tokens. We are not minting TC tokens for the funding pool.
Okay,
And
because there's no wait, is there a bonding curve? What's behind this Aragon platform? Is it a bonding curve?
it is creating a DAO that has a bonding curve that is selling one of the tokens, and the other token is more like a multi-sig token that controls the funding pool. I think that it's better if I explain that first.
I think I get it. But you go ahead. I want to see what you're going to explain. But yeah, go ahead. So what I see is it creates two tokens. One is the bonding curve token that is building the funding pool as that token gets minted and the collateral gets locked. And then the other token is just a simple governance token, like a multi-sig, that it gives access to that funding pool that builds. But we're taking out that simple multi-sig and we're putting in conviction voting to access that funding pool.
Yes.
And then, so let's see if I get this then. So initial tokens offered is... What is it referring to? Which token is it referring to here?
The initial token offering, it is referring to the token in the bonding curve.
Okay.
Let's say if it's 60%, it will mean that 40% here, it will be issued to everyone who puts money here. Okay, and if we reach that goal, we only have one goal. There are not min and max goals. There is only a pre-sale goal, and that's all. If you reach this, you hatch, and if you don't reach it, you refund. And what does it mean is that there will be 20k of if at the fifth, there will be 25k of FIF at the end, and let's put 50%, and the rest, and a 50% will another 20k FIF will go to the funding pool that is controlled by the other token.
So it's talking about the tokens offered in the pre-sale.
Yes.
This is the pre-sale terms. Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Yes. We have 100%, and this means that there will be no FIF for the funding pool because the funding pool doesn't need it, and we have no way to distribute it through conviction voting. So we have 100% here, and that's all. But what it will do is what it used to do is to give tokens to the team or the people who is controlling the funding pool. But this parameter is not used anymore by us, at least. Let's go with the other parameter of the pre-sale. That is what we call hatch tribute, and it distributes funds between the funding pool and the reserve. So it is a 10% that goes to the funding pool. That's all. Once the hatch is finished, 10% of the funds goes to the funding pool, which it used to be controlled by a multisig. Now it's controlled by conviction voting, and the rest, the 90%, goes to the bonding curve vote reserve. Then we have here vesting. Do you know how is the diagram of vesting?
Okay, so let me think. So the funds will be available after 90 days, and they will be a linear vesting of 365, I'm guessing.
Yes. There is a cliff, which means that, let's say that it's linear from the first time, from the first day, but the first 90 days, nobody will be able to move them.
Okay.
But there is a moment in the shape is something like it's flat at the beginning, and then it goes high, and then from there it's linear.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
I mean, if you
I can see it in my mind.
okay. And then we have operation terms. Okay, that's we removed that. It's called tap. It's based on something that is called the initial. Let's say that in 2017 there was a lot of scams in the ICOs, and one of the solutions that Vitalik proposed was to do a DAICO. DAICO is a DAO plus an ICO. And the DAO, what it does is that it holds the funds, and there is a mechanism that we can call tap that limits the amount of funds that the team of the team of the currency, or
Excuse me.
the team that is building, receive. So if the team is not performing well, it will receive less. If the team says we are on fire, we need more funds, and the shareholders accept, then they can increase that tap, that amount of funds that goes to the funding pool over time.
Yep, that makes sense.
And that's the rate. I guess that it is the initial tap, that the initial funds that will be in the funding pool will be 2.5k, and the minimum that there will be in the tap will be 2. I never understood how the tap works, and we are not using it anymore. So
yeah,
I guess that we
have conviction voting, right? So that gives more control over the funds.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember how it went, how it was working. I don't think I don't remember if it replaces completely conviction voting, or if there was some connection with the reserve or not. I guess that it's like conviction voting at the end.
I think it's the tap, like in your kitchen, you turn on the tap for the faucet for the water. So
Yeah.
I think it's like if they have the funding pool, but it's not accessible, and every maybe month or something, like 20, it's like this linear, it's almost like vesting, but it's like $2,500 are unlocked. So it's like a maximum budget. It's almost like budgeting. They're only allowed to spend $2,500 per month, and then the floor would be the minimum. So there, it says we're never going to decrease the tap below 2,500.
Yeah. Okay, no, it has relation with the reserve, because it is removing funds from the reserve and sending it to. No, it has relation, a lot of relation with. It connects the reserve and the funding pool, and it removes some funds from the reserve to send them to the funding pool. And the minimum amount that must be in the reserve is that amount. and things like that. I mean,
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah, it's a mechanism to get some funds from the reserve. But it was controversial. It was controversial at the time.
So in our mechanism, is there a way to get funds from the reserve?
No,
Okay, so
the
it's actually it's safer for the investors that way. It's this the bonding curve is locked. It's just a bonding curve, and oh,
yeah.
but there's the hatch tribute. So basically 10% or some is it 10% of all reserves automatically go into the funding pool?
There are two tributes. The Hatch tribute that is used in the migration or in the Hatch that go the initial funds at 10% or whatever will go to the funding pool and the rest to the reserve. And there is another tribute that is when you are buying or selling the token, part of it can go to the funding pool too. Those are the parameters that we will be configuring. The idea is that we have an exit tribute and no entry tribute, but we will see what people do. Maybe people propose to have an entry tribute instead of an exit tribute, or both.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
they are not here.
and I guess the entry and exit tribute could actually be changed over time, right? From conviction voting or dandelion.
Well, that it is dandelion. It is not anymore dandelion. It's disputable voting.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is that right now it will be able to be changed using voting, a yes or no, both. And in the future, that will be amazing to have conviction voting that is able not only to request funds but also change parameters.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty amazing, actually.
And okay, and finally, trading terms. Well, actually, this is one part of the form, and then we have the advanced. That trading terms, I don't know. This is part of that thing that I don't completely understand about the virtual supply and virtual. It's called one is virtual balance and the other virtual supply, and it is configured with these things. With this, there is a formula that transforms the expected growth into the virtual supply and virtual balance. It is explained more in detail here. So this is what we need to understand in order to get the parameters done.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that we sold in the pre-sale or in the hatch phase the few
Phew.
the one die,
Mm-hmm.
and we can change how much do we send and how we open when we open the bonding curve, we can choose the new price. So for example, we can say, okay, when we open the bonding curve, it will be 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nothing else changes, which is weird.
Yeah, it did change. It went from 91 to 9. You see the times at the top there?
Okay. Now it says that it's a lot of times,
Yeah.
and I cannot change it anymore. So now, okay. Let's say that we do 3. Okay, yeah, it's a lot. Um, okay, there is some. Let's say if we say that we will grow uh, at 10x. Okay, there are some things that I don't know how it goes anymore. I mean, if you change the initial price and the expected growth, you are also changing other things. At the end, what you are changing is the virtual balance and virtual supply.
Oh, okay, okay, good. That's good to know.
And there is a React application that is this that you can play with. Well, it's right now it's part of the template. We could extract that specific page and do some tests with Python. That's what I think that could be very interesting for the labs, or not the labs, but the params.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that
I'm gonna need your help on this because there's so many repositories and so many different things in different places. It's really easy to get lost, but because you've got so much expertise on all this, so together I think you can have all these references in your mind, and then we can do it in the params. We can code it all up in Python.
for sure you will have my help for sure.
Awesome.
Okay, and then there is this advanced tab that is talking about the the slippages. Actually, it's very advanced, and we are not using it anymore. Um, let's say that the process was that when you are selling, there are many blocks that you are waiting until you know that you got a good price. It is in order to avoid front running. Do you know that problem
Oh,
with one?
so I know this kind. Let me see if I have any idea because I hear this term all the time, and I have maybe I know it, but maybe I don't. It's like, is it because the Ethereum blockchain is public and there's like the mempool, or and then so if you go to submit an order, then someone else can basically you they're gonna make the price go up because they might buy in front of you.
Yes, exactly. If you are going to do a big buy or big sell,
Mm,
somebody with more gas will be able to front run you, and then you will have a worse price, and for him it will be insta win.
mm,
So there are many solutions to that. The solution that this application is taking, but we remove this, is to do the average over many blocks. I don't know what they ended doing at the end, because you can do a sort of um, hide what is the price that you are going to offer, and then um, tell it something like that. It's a commit and reveal.
mm,
This is batching some blocks, so probably it's doing an average.
mm,
There were many options in order to avoid it, and we are using one which is much less difficult, less intrusive, probably more less um, not so good for fight the front running, but it's good enough. If you see before the functions, we were sending the amount of tokens that we are expecting to receive. Let's see. For example, when we do a sell, we are saying how much amount we are selling and how much we are expecting to
mm,
receive.
mm.
So in some way,
I get it. So
this
it's kind of like maybe the if it seems like if someone's gonna come and front run, then actually the whole transaction will just revert because it's gonna break the minimum threshold.
yes, yes, and you will be able to send another transaction with another price if you want, or not. So in some way, it prevents you from buying a very
It
low price.
also it kind of punishes front runners because I think if they saw this going through and they tried to front run, then the minimum wouldn't be met and the transaction wouldn't go through. So the front runner would be left holding the bag, kind of.
Kind of, yes.
Mhm.
So this is the solution that we are using. There were more complex solutions, but at the end,
I think
it was
this is a perfect solution for something that's not on mainnet because the only problem here is gas fees. If the minimum is not met and it reverts, then the buyer or seller they're losing out on gas fees. But if this is deployed on XDAI, then there's basically no penalty to if someone tries to front run and so the min gets moved and the person doesn't get so it doesn't go through, then you're right, they can just change their minimum price or try again or whatever they want to do, and there's basically no like downside because the gas fees are so low.
okay. Doing a recap, we are not going to be using advanced because this part is removed and replaced by this minimum return amount.
Mm-hmm.
So this part we can avoid. We are not going to use that pre-sale. Well, this part in some way is what we have in the hatch DAO. These are the parameters that we already have in the hatch DAO. This percentage, yes, we have this in the new parameters because this is the, let's say, hatch tribute in which we are dividing the funding pool and the reserve. So this one parameter is important. This is not important. It will be always 100%. These were the tokens that the TSC tokens that goes to the funding pool, and there will be none. We will also need to have the vesting as the new parameters.
Okay.
And there is no tap. And we need to understand these two parameters and gather from them the virtual balance, virtual supply, and another parameter that it's called reserve ratio. Reserve ratio, or sometimes it's referred as connector weight. There is fundraising. I want to enter. Here's the documentation, and I think that you will enjoy this documentation. It's very good.
Let me try it here. What was the domain?
Racing.aragon.black. Okay. It is not there anymore. It is not there anymore, or somebody is trying to how is it called?
DDoS?
Is trying to, yeah, no, not DDoS. Is trying to do a man in the middle on me.
Oh.
But I guess that it is not working anymore.
Yeah, I don't see. I just Googled Aragon Black documentation. I'm not seeing.
Guess that it's on GitHub. Because it was a very good documentation. Maybe it can be gathered from here, but I'm not sure how it was working.
Oh, yeah.
That's the overview.
Maybe we can just run that locally.
Okay, yeah, that's the documentation. And you have here the Bancor pricing formula, and it explains how it works. And as you can see, the connector weight, it refers as the reserve ratio. Well, the reserve ratio here is connector weight.
Okay.
And it explains different ways to prevent on running. And the one that we are using is mine return. But then there is other things like setting up a maximum gas price, like a fixed gas price. Commit and reveal, like not showing how much is the amount that you are buying. And this is the approach that they took at their time, which was batching. But it's very freaky in some sense. I mean, let's go with the mean return, and that's already done.
Great.
And this formula, I think that it's the interesting thing. It connects that reserve ratio connects the balance, the supply, and the price. And this is constant. It's a constant. And then the virtual balance, the virtual supply goes here. Okay.
So we have virtual balance and virtual supply and price.
Yes. The thing is that in some way, like the balance, but let's expect that it will grow that much, and let's use that amount when it has already grown, because at the beginning the token supply and token balance will be 0. So this is why we are using the virtual balance and virtual supply. I guess I couldn't find proper documentation regarding that. But let's have, if you want, what we can do is to have meetings in the tech params and work specifically on these things.
Perfect. Yep.
There's the tech param calls for that.
Yep.
Because I'm not sure.
On Sundays. Yeah, Sundays 10 a.m. around this time. Yeah, around this time on Sundays.
Okay. I don't know, Jake. Maybe let's say that let's tell Jake that we will be working on that. I don't know if this weekend you already have something to do, or you were out of. You were like.
I think the initial hatch dashboard still needs more work, but anyways, Vitor is so good on that. He's always working on it, so it's not. I don't really need to be there. So I think getting started on these kind of things is just as high priority. So I think it's a good. I think this weekend is good.
Okay, and now going back to the and summing up again, we had the tests for the migration, the tests for the hatch template, the documentation of the migration. These are the things that we need. These 3 things are the things that we need for freezing the hatch, and we will be working this weekend on those 3 things. And then the other thing is create the commons template with the ABC and all that stuff. That I don't know if you want to be involved in that specific thing, or maybe you can be involved with us. But you were saying I prefer to do the tests than the Solidity development for now, right?
Both. I mean, I really want to learn Solidity, and I think by actually working on it, I'll learn better how it all works. But I also just want to be most effective for helping, and I feel like writing tests is where I can do that best.
Okay. Uh, it also helps us much
Mm-hmm.
more,
Mm-hmm.
I think,
Exactly.
because
Exactly. Well, because you guys are
we are.
for me, if I was gonna start actually developing on this stuff, I would have to do so much learning. It would be mostly just learning, and I don't think like whereas you guys are already in it, you already know how to do it. So just like time wise, but I feel like I can. So your time should be spent actually doing the development, um, because I think I can actually write tests, and so it just allows us all to be more maximum effectiveness. I think.
Also, tests are like the part that we are lacking more.
Okay.
So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what we can do, because we are going to be very focused on finishing this during the weekend,
Mm.
we can start with these things, and we let the bonding curve thing for the next Sunday, not
Mm.
this Sunday, next one.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that this params weekend will be continuing with the same thing that you were doing. Kind of, I don't know.
Or I might just
What do you think?
I might just do this on Sunday is pretty open hack session, so I might just keep doing this, working on the looking at the migration tools, the docs, and the hatch template tests. I think I'm gonna my plan actually from getting all of this and getting the overview. I'm gonna make some sort of root document, maybe a blog post on sort of my journey that I go through this and linking to a lot of these key resources, and then writing out what I'm doing for the tests, and yeah, so there's going to be like a root document that'll probably be a blog post, and it'll kind of link to the different things that I'm hitting, maybe some of the tests I'm writing, the documentation I'm writing, and so it'll all sort of gather from one place.
Okay. So this week we focused on finishing the hatch, and you can be working. Maybe you. Let's gather you some work to do. One of the things that would be amazing for me is to have documentation of this of this tool. I didn't explain you everything, and maybe in 15 minutes I can explain everything, and you can try to write it up in a readme or something.
Yeah.
um, and that will be like, because it is a bit difficult to explain. From vault one, we have two balls in the first DAO that will send the two balls in the second DAO.
Yeah.
What,
I can
what, we
help with
can,
that. Yeah.
what we can do is I explain to you
Yeah.
what it's doing, and then you write it down,
Yep.
and I can help with that process too. But I think that you will have much more.
I have fresh eyes too. It's fresh eyes are always nice because you've been staring at this for so long.
Okay. So the thing is that this is an application that you install in the two DAOs, DAO and the new DAO. The old DAO has 2 vaults full of money, and the new DAO also has what? When you initialize this DAO, you need a token manager and 2 vaults. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, it can be at least 1 or 2 vaults. But let's say that it's 2 vaults, and that's all. Because if you set up the vault 2 as 0, and you send all the funds to vault 1, it's also okay.
Mm.
But for um, for simplification, let's say that both DAOs have one token manager and 2 vaults. And you are installing this application in both places. In one place, what you have is this migrate function that that you tell which is the new migration application, which is the new vault 1, and which is the new bool 2. Uh, you say which token you are migrating. You say in which percentage you and the new vault 1 and new vault 2 will be distributed. And then these 3 other parameters are for the other part, which is at the same time that we are migrating the funds, we are saving. My God, this is in order to initialize the vesting. Okay, these 2 parameters are vesting parameters. And because at the same time that we are transferring the funds from the first 2 vaults to the second 2 vaults, we are saying, okay, from now on, the moment that we are doing that, we are not snapshotting the tokens that of the old DAO. So anyone who has redeemed before that moment, they don't have any tokens, right? And we have a, because they are transferable, we need one moment in time in which we can count. Okay, you have a redeemable token. Let's say that it's a convertible token. And it's only in the moment that the funds are transferred. So what you are doing is to setting up the token of the old token manager. You are setting up the and you are setting up the vesting parameters. And the other DAO, what it receives, this setup minting of the new migration app, is the vesting parameters and the snapshot. Oh, let's see. Okay, and the snapshot token. The thing is that the time is also recorded. The snapshot block in which it is happening is recorded, and we have it like we do a photo of everything, right? And this photo can only be done one time. If you try to do the setup minting again, it will fail. So if it was done previously to the vote, if somebody does a setup minting, first they cannot, because they have to have a role for setup minting, and they will not have. The only one who will have the permission to setup minting will be the old DAO agent, I guess. I have to the old DAO voting application. Okay. But I still have to check that if that is that I still have to test it. But I think that it should work well if we set up the setup minting role to the voting application of the old DAO. Then we can call this application. Now I am doubting if it's possible or not. Maybe we need the agent. I hope that we can, but we need to test it. Okay.
Yeah, this seems
If not,
this seems important. So when I'm writing tests, this is something I should look up. So like I'm new to Solidity, so I basically have no idea what's going on here. But I'm guessing this setup minting role, is this just a key? Is this just a key that we're gonna where does this come from initially? Like how does it have
okay.
authority?
This is part of the Aragon OS, and Aragon OS, and you can say, okay, you have and this address has permissions to do that, to enter that function, or things like that. It's this is called a modifier. It's a function that is executed before that function, and the auth modifier comes from Aragon OS. And our input is the setup minting role. It could be any other role. We define that setup minting role here as a hash, and we allow people to have this setup minting role, or we also can allow other contracts to have the role, and only them can call this function. I will check it out properly, but I think that let's say that it works, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we do this snapshot in which we say, okay, this is the token that we are, because the new DAO doesn't know which is the old DAO yet. We only initialized the new DAO migration tools with the new DAO token manager, new DAO vault, and vault 2.
Mm.
And it's here when we connect both DAOs. Saying, okay, the old token is that, and you will be able to convert those old tokens into new tokens when with this specific proper vesting parameters. So you are just saving all of them here, and once this is done, we can begin to call the mint tokens function and mint for each holder tokens based on the snapshotted token at that specific moment on time. If they had some tokens, they can convert them into the new tokens.
Cool.
We can convert H into TC, and this is the way we create them. We issue them, and then we assign them in a vesting with a
So
vesting.
I have a question. It's like, what if there was some sort of market for TEC? My question is, do we freeze transactions after the snapshot? Okay.
No. We don't freeze them. We take a snapshot. So
Because someone could go sell all their tokens right after the snapshot, right?
exactly, and the TCH tokens can be sold, but they are virtually worth nothing because there are no funds in the vault, in any of the vaults. So they are redeemable in the old DAO, but for nothing. And they are not present in the snapshot. So because that moment you are you are always going to check out at the balance of the holder at that time.
So could this be a problem where someone goes and it's like almost like double spending? It's like after the snapshot, I go and sell all my tech tokens to someone.
You could, but it's not a double spending. It's more like you are selling something that has no value.
I mean, it could be a problem, right? If someone had a lot of TEC tokens and there was some sort of market for them, and probably most people wouldn't understand the snapshot timing and mechanism, so they might think that these TEC tokens have value.
Yeah, they are not going to be TEC. They are going to be TCH,
Mm.
and they should not advertise that those tokens have value.
Right,
Never.
right. It should be very explicit, I guess, in the documentation and in everywhere that people should just know. I mean, it should be a very clear part of what we're doing that the TECH, the tech hatch tokens do not have monetary value.
Well, they have monetary value until the migration.
Mm-hmm.
before the migration, you can redeem them for money, and after the migration, you cannot. But it's because you can. Well, you.
What if we freeze? Should we freeze? Is it possible to freeze transactions after the snapshot?
Yes, I think so. Let me think. Yeah, that would be nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem that I see is that token manager, we have to change the token manager for that. It is possible, of course, but it's a little bit more work, and it's changing more things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, things has to be audited and redeployed, and it adds more complexity. Um, well, we could we no, we cannot burn them. I will check out. I think that your concern is legit. I will check out if we can do something with them,
Cause they're
because at the end,
can we make
yeah,
them pausable?
we can. Yeah, I think that we can do a hook that there is, because we are using the token manager, the hook token manager, which is already a modification of the token manager. We can do a hook that pauses them. I can work on that, and we can even make the migration tool a hook of the token manager, so we can hook it. It's a bit weird what I say, but let's say that the migration tools application can be a component of the token manager, and when we have done a migration, we don't let the tokens to be transferred anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will check it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that the snapshot is also interesting to have, because as it is right now, um, if the hook fails for some reason, we still have that snapshot.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is that from a security perspective, the new DAO doesn't want to depend on the old DAO. And this is why we are doing a snapshot. It's like, okay, whatever has happened before that, um, I don't matter. I have this snapshot, and this is the truth.
Yeah.
The old DAO cannot change anything of the new DAO. That's my main what I aim for.
Mm.
That there is independency from the old DAO and the new DAO.
Mm-hmm.
Independence, not independency. And because of that, we are transferring the knowledge from the old DAO to the new DAO through this snapshot token, and it's a closed knowledge. It's not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. Well, I don't know if you could get the notes on what everything is doing, and you can remind me of that.
Yeah. I think it's going to be such a good exercise for me to just explore this and tinker with it and figure out. I actually already have a huge. You've done a really good job explaining it so far. So I'm just gonna start writing. I'm gonna try to document as much as I can. Start thinking about testing and yeah, a lot of just playing around, like loading. Yeah, I guess what I'll get from you, if I can, is just a little bit of the testing workflow. Like maybe just how you run the tests, or maybe how you bring this up in like a console. Um, and we also, I don't know if we got through all of the code above, so.
Yes, I
That's it, hey?
yeah. The only one is that it's a helper to do many things in just in one function. But yes, we covered everything. I don't know if you want. If you need, I repeat it or I check the documentation and write a little bit.
Yeah, don't worry.
I can write.
Don't put any more work on yourself. You have enough work. So I'm gonna start writing documentation. Everything we've gone over, I'm gonna try to document. And if I hit something that I don't understand, I'll just come back to you.
Okay. And well, the thing is that I still didn't upload this this repo. I will do it right now. Okay. At least I don't know, because I was working on the tests. I don't upload the tests. You can have it. You can have the.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will send it now to you. I also add you into the Common Swarm group in Telegram,
Perfect.
and we dish praise there, and also request for honey
Mm-hmm.
from the One Hive funding.
Mm.
And we say, I have been working 4 hours on that, and you explain what you have done, and you receive funding in relation to that. Okay,
Excellent.
I will add.
And okay, that's is it that simple? It's just in the Telegram chat.
Yes,
Okay, that's wonderful. Yeah.
I will add you now. Okay,
Okay.
and send you the link to this.
Yep. And do you want to go just show me how you run the tests?
Well, there are no tests yet. The tests can be run with npm test,
Okay.
and what it does right now is go through a list of empty tests.
And do you have like Ganache running or?
You have to do no. You just have to do an npm install,
Mm-hmm.
and it works alone. It is using Builder,
Oh, okay.
which is not exactly Ganache. Because Ganache is part of the Truffle suite,
Mm.
and well, actually it's Builder, but the newest version is called Hardhat. And but we are still using a little bit old version called Builder. It's more or less the same, and it's much faster and a bit better.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the way you run it. But I will be working on at least the beginning of those, the before and before each,
Mm.
and I also have Paulo here with me. He also wanted to take on those. We have many tests going on. I mean, Paulo also is working on the template tests, but it will be much helpful if Paulo writes the tests, and then you check out that they are sufficient or correct, or
Mm-hmm. And I'll write
and
documentation. Sounds like mostly I can start with like the README, all that kind of stuff, documentation, and you guys are writing tests. That's great. So I'll just track them and follow and run them. You know, I'll check them out for myself. And sounds like I can basically keep myself busy with just really focusing on documentation to start.
and if we need some help with the tests, because we say, oh, we need some help,
Mm-hmm.
then we can work together.
Exactly. And
At the moment,
the more tests that you guys write, the more examples I'll have of how to actually write proper tests.
okay. Or I don't know what Pablo want to do, but maybe if he don't want to write all the tests, he can write the beginning of them
Yep.
and then gives you the rest or something like that.
Yep.
We
And
will
and
see. Okay.
and just feel free to grab me and say, "Hey, this is perfect. We need you to fill out these some of these tests," and I can jump on it.
Okay. The thing is that these tests sometimes are a bit complicated because of the Web3, how it works, and all that. So I think that it's important to have at least at the beginning some examples.
Mhm.
This is
Mhm.
why I am like I don't want to give you the test yet.
Yep. Yep. That makes a lot of sense.
Not
S-
yet, not yet.
So,
Ja-
yeah, in time. So, yeah, if you want to push this upstream, and I can pull it down, clone it, and start working on the README.
Okay, great. I will send it to you uh, after this call and add you to the group also. Okay. Is there anything else that you need?
I think this is perfect to get started. I might have questions. I'm really excited about this, so I'm going to jump right in. I'm just going to grab a little bite to eat and then get started with this. And I have all the resources open that you walked me through earlier, so that I have lots of references. Like, I think I have enough to keep me busy for a while. Just writing documentation and yeah, just basically I got to understand how all this stuff works. But I think I have all the resources I need.
Okay, that would be fantastic. I mean, I was like, oh shit, I have to write that documentation.
Yeah.
I don't know where to begin. So it's fantastic.
I've been in those shoes when you write all the code and you're so exhausted, and then you realize, oh, now I have to go back and write all the documentation. It's so much it's so heavy on the mind, when there's just so many things to be done. So I'm really happy that I can help. I think it's amazing what you guys are doing here, and I'm learning so much. Like, I couldn't pay enough money to get this kind of education, so it's such a win-win situation.
Will you attend the Gabi's workshop or workshops?
Yep, I want to. Yep. So they're going to be Wednesdays, right?
I don't know. It was on Monday, and I think that they have
Oh,
changed it. Yes,
I
probably.
definitely want to. Yeah, keep me posted. I'll attend as many as I can. I'm really excited about those.
Okay, so let's keep it here, and I send to you the repo when it's ready. Thank you so much,
Thank
Sean.
you, Sam. Thank you so much as well. Okay, so I'll let you know how everything's going.
Okay,
Awesome. Okay, I'll talk to you later then.
see you soon.
Thank you, Sam. Bye bye.